So we've got the head coach of USC women's tennis, Alison Swain, joining us now. Jordan Moore, Sean Cody Kessler. Coach, you're coming off a fantastic season last spring. You roll right back into it in the fall. How different is this team? What's the outlook for this year's squad?
Yeah, I think the team is actually pretty different. We graduated 4 seniors last year, and we brought in 4 new players, 6 returners. So that's a pretty big percentage that's new. But we have a really tight culture right now, and I think our returners are carrying over a lot of last spring into this fall. Mostly it's been really interesting this fall because we're playing a little bit of a new format this fall and adjusting to that.
Yeah, take us through the format, Coach. Let's know what's going on with the format.
Yeah, we are in a 2-year pilot with the NCAA where the singles and doubles NCAA championships are now going to be crowned at the end of the fall, right before Thanksgiving. Previously, that was always played right after the team NCAA championships in May. So that's very different for us. Yeah. And this fall is typically a time that we focus on player development and some individual tournaments. Now we're trying to focus on player development, but also qualify players for the NCAA championships. So it
tricky
has a
scheduling-wise, huh?
Yeah. It's definitely a different feel.
Coach, you talked about singles and doubles. We had Lily Fairclough on a couple weeks ago, and I'm curious your opinion on this too, and I talked to her about it, but what goes into picking the right doubles partner, right? Is that kind of let the players fill it out, or as a coach, do you try to put players together that you think they're going to work well, in those matches?
Yeah, I think as a coach and our coaching staff, we always have initial thoughts and instincts on what's going to work, but it's really the players that determine if it will. So for Lily and Grace, it was about playing style, first and foremost. And secondly, it's also about personality, communication. Are they going to gel? Because they have to want to be out there together. They have to mesh competitively. Honestly, that makes the biggest difference at the end of the day. And I feel like we lucked out a little bit with our doubles teams. I had some instincts on what I wanted to do, and we got out there not just with Lily and Grace, but with our other doubles pairings this fall, and they've really bought in and brought the energy and the focus on court and meshed well together from the get-go.
I mean, you called it luck. I'm calling it coaching, though. I think that you got to give yourself some credit there.
You're listening to Alison Swain, head coach of USC women's tennis on Trojans Live. Before we started, we were talking about the last time you were on, which probably was around when you got hired, I would assume. So now entering your 8th season, I'm curious now because when you got hired, I thought it was such an interesting, fun hire because it's almost like a coaching experiment. You had built a dynasty, but you had done it at a small college called Williams, which is D3 tennis. But you clearly can coach, so what's the transition then to all of a sudden doing it with, the best college, tennis players in the country? Now that you're 8 years down the road, what are the results of that experiment? What is different about coaching at Williams versus coaching at USC?
Well, whether it's Williams in a small D3 school or another D1 school, I mean, nothing compares to coaching at USC, right? The resources we have here, the way our support staff, our student athletes, our athletic department works as a team, I really don't think anything compares to that. So I don't even know if it would be a jump from anywhere, really, right? Yeah. And so I'm incredibly grateful for what we have. And honestly, the biggest thing for me is how do our players, how do we best utilize all that we have here to make us great? And for a lot of our players, it's picking and choosing and helping them see what are going to be the biggest difference makers for them. But working with athletes that are highly motivated, I did that at both places. Here, it's a little different. A lot of our athletes have aspirations to be pro tennis players and are doing some of that now and will continue to do that when they graduate. So that's been different, really fun, really exciting. I've tried to bring the team culture aspect to it. Because tennis is only a team sport in college, essentially. Yeah. Otherwise, it's individual, and that's what I really was the foundation of what I did at Williams. And that's been a really fun experiment and one our players have really bought into and just makes being out on court, being on team trips, competing out at these away matches and stuff, 6 courts across, really, really fun.
Coach, you mentioned culture, but you also got to bring in the right players, right? You have to find in recruiting what kind of player you want, or even now with the transfer portal, you got to figure out who should be on this team. When it comes to recruiting, are you looking for someone who can smash the ball, or are you looking for players who can cover the court? I'm just asking because I have some daughters, and we got to know what to work on.
Yeah, well, I really like great athletes.
Okay, check.
Yeah, so that helps a lot because I think, like I said, we have the resources here and the ability to take a great athlete and help them really reach their full potential. our players have all different playing styles. You know, we've got Lily, who's big lefty, big serve, big forehand, likes to come forward. We have, you know, Maya Sung in her 5th year on our team. She's a grinder. She's creative. She really works the points and is physical out there. So it's different with everybody. Yep. But I really gel well with players that can kind of be humble and hungry and really want to get better, have that motivation, internal drive. And playing style doesn't matter to me if you've got that.
All right, clip that, Rick. I got to play that home for the girls.
Coach, I'm curious because I've watched a lot of tennis in my life, and I guess at any level, it doesn't matter. It looks exhausting, right? And when you watch it on TV, what goes into that preparation? I guess more specifically conditioning in the off season so the matches can become quote unquote easy and not get tired out.
Yeah, I think that has a lot to do with what we're looking for on court in our practice sessions. You know, there's a way in any sport, I imagine, to kind of give your B or C effort and get through it without giving your full effort. But what you just said is exactly what it should be. If we are giving 100% in practice and in our fitness, then the matches become easy. But yeah, it's a combination of the work we do on court and the work we do with Coach Madison, our fitness coach, because that's a combo of lifting, of plyos, of agility, short movement and change of directions, conditioning on the bike, running. You really have to have it all in tennis.
All right, Coach, your last chance to play at home this fall is coming up this weekend. It's ITA sectional championships, and you guys are doing electronic line calling. Is that right?
Yeah, so this is a big deal for us, this tournament, and this is my plug to get anybody that's going to be in the area Thursday through Sunday to come out and watch some great tennis. So NCAA singles and doubles is in the fall now. You used to qualify on your national ranking built up over a year's worth of tennis. Now you qualify by advancing to a certain round of a tournament. There's 3 weekends you can do that in. This is the final weekend, and we get to host. So what an exceptional opportunity for us. And the other thing that's happening this weekend is we are the first tournament to premiere on the women's side electronic line calling. Ooh. So that hasn't been premiered in D1 women's tennis yet. And we're doing it across all 6 of our courts. So there will still be an official sitting in a chair if you've been to a tennis match before, but the lines will be called automatically, much like when you watch a Grand Slam on TV now. Yeah.
That's where they freeze frame it and you can kind of see where the ball landed on TV?
You can, yes,
okay,
exactly.
Gotcha, yeah.
But there, if you watch a Grand Slam, you'll see linesmen in the back calling the serve. Traditionally, you'll see them on the sidelines calling the sidelines. Now it's all done by a computer.
Wow.
Yeah, but in college you still get a little bit of
yes.
I saw that
exactly.
out. So we're getting rid of that, which is probably for the best.
In college, you typically call your own lines. The ref in the chair will overrule it if it's wrong, but that's tough to do. And we also don't play ads. So if you know how to score tennis, you watch a Grand Slam, you get to deuce, you still 40-40, you still have to win 2 points to win the game. It's sudden death in college tennis. It's one of the things that makes it really exciting and a lot of pressure. Those deuce points can be a little tight on the calls, so it'll be great to have electronic line calling for
You don't play lets either, which is great, and
yes.
the pros should fix that. That's much better. But the deuce thing is it certainly adds to the drama. Sean, would you be an honest line caller, or maybe big
What
points?
strikes you as me being an honest?
Just asking.
Yeah, honest. Jordan.
Just honest.
Well, I might be a homer for the Trojans, but I don't know what else.
No, just yourself. Just saw that one out. On to the next. The next for women's tennis is again coming up this weekend, ITA sectional championships. Then they'll have a full team season in the spring as well. So go to usctrojans.com and see the schedule. USC women's tennis rolling in season 8 under head coach Alison Swain. Want the inside scoop on this game and all things Trojans? Be sure to sign up for the 3 Torches presented by Smart and Final. It's a free newsletter that hits your email inbox 3 times a week with game info, player insights, and more. Go to usctrojans.com/3torches and sign up. Our football roundtable is next on Trojans Live.